Recently, I went to work in a specialty I've never been in years. And guess what? The 51-year-old in me showed up loud and clear. I struggled. I struggled. I tell you everything about me, about the confidence that I had. It actually hit rock bottom. I started rethinking about my future. I thought, will I be able to continue doing this kind of work? What kind of work am I going to be doing? That was a light bulb moment, and there's so many things that I thought in my head. And when I came home, I took serious time to think about it, writing things down, researching, and I'm going to share with you what I'm planning to do. Whether this, if you want, you may use the same style and probably plan your future. But I tell you, if you're like me, I came home, my body was aching. My feet were aching, my back, everything was just aching. I was snappy. Even if when I didn't have to be rude, I was like, what? What? Wait, why are you asking me that? It's because of the tiredness, the anger and everything. Yeah, it was a time that I had to reconsider. I did 2 days. It was 2 long days I did. They were not easy. They were the most difficult 2 long days I've ever had in my career. In my head, I was just thinking, I'm just going to pick up from where I left. The moment you just go in, it just comes back. You're lying. It's not going to be like that. Things have changed now. For example, if you go in the health sector, a lot of things are changing. Okay, you go care of the elderly, you go in nursing homes and everywhere. They've got these systems that they are putting in place. It's a government initiative, and the government wants that done, where the residents or clients' records are electronically monitored. And the software that they're using is another thing. I remember when I used to work in NHS years back, they introduced this software called Symphony. That was years back, and I think it's an old software. If those ones you can remember. And I used to work in A&E those days, and it was that software. A lot of people resigned. They resigned because they were like, "Oh, I don't want to learn any new things, any computers at this age." But where we are heading now, everything is going to be computerized. Everything is going to be computerized. Everything. Documentation, care planning, whatever, anything and anything is going to be on the computer. So if you're that person who doesn't like learn computers, it's the time that you need to start familiarizing yourself with it, because you are going to learn it. You are expected to learn. And the most difficult part is that you're going to be micromanaged. That software, someone is sitting there watching. Why why are this why this is not done? And they're giving you, like, for example, those working in the health sector, they're given 15 minutes to see a client or to do the observations, and then it passes. Already it sends the signals to where it's supposed to send to say, it shows that you've missed, this person has missed the care, this person has missed what's supposed to be done, and they're back on you. I was thinking, how are people who are working in the health sector seeing this? Do they know that this is what's going to be like? What are they doing to help themselves change for the future, especially those who are older like me? I'm 51 and I'm not getting younger. Things that I used to accomplish in 30 minutes, now I would need an hour and a half to complete. And you are given 1 hour to complete, you're struggling. Okay, you're struggling. And I was thinking hard about that. I need additional time to complete tasks. So what kind of job will I be doing in future, where I'll be given 1.5 hours or 2 hours to complete a task which I'm supposed to complete in half an hour? I was thinking about that. No way. For as long as you're working for someone, you just have to keep up. I tell you, the energy levels, they drop as you get older. When I was in my 40s, my 30s, everything was in my head. I never used to keep a diary. I would just keep a diary as a backup. But everything was right there. If you tell me a date and time and the place, it's all here. It was all there. Now I have to document, I have to double check. Sometimes I write wrong things, you know. I had to double check every time, a lot of times. So you can imagine if you're at work and you're doing that double checking 100 times, and how many people are you supposed to be looking after? So many. Mhm. I thought hard about that. And then there was a time I was really applauding my fellow colleagues who work in the same specialty that I was struggling in. And some people have worked there for years. Their life, they've been working there. My feet were hurting. My back was hurting. I had a headache. And I was thinking someone works there 24/7. That's their job. How are they managing? Is it because I know I've got options? That's why I feel like that? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think because I've got options. It's because I really felt my body that is going down. If I was in my 30s, oh wow, of course, I would do it. But now it's hard. It's hard. I need to come up with other ways of working. I have to learn new skills that will allow me to sit down and do my job, probably. Yeah, because I'm not able to be on my feet 24 for 12 hours. No, even 8. I need a job where I can walk and sit at the same time. I don't need a job where I'm constantly on my feet. Because as I grow older, this is what I don't like. Even though it is good for my health, but if it becomes excessive, then it's not going to be good for me. So instead of being on the front line, if you work in the jobs where you're supposed to be on the front line, you may have to consider doing jobs where you're doing the mentoring, the advisory kind of jobs. Those ones are a bit better because you don't need to be rushing. You're not constantly on your feet. Of course, some of them you need to use your brains. You may have like extensive report writing. You can get away with that. At least I realize that it's better to finish work late than to be rushed and end up with a sore back, sore feet, and everything. It's quite difficult. I had the time to reflect on my previous jobs and this one. I used to hate my previous job. I used to say, I think I'm struggling. But I realized that, oh, that's a posh one. I need to actually stay there and find ways of coping. That's what I realized. That was much better than this. Okay. However, there are some specialty that I haven't explored. Remember, this is just one specialty that I explored, but there are other better specialties which you can also explore if you are in the health sector, because I work in the health sector. So that's what I'm saying. So there's so many options, okay, that you can consider. But options like being on my feet, they're definitely out. Okay. Some people may think, okay, I can do consultancy. Yeah, you can. If you could, why not? You've got so many skills that you can monetize. You can work for yourself. You don't need to be reporting anyone to anyone. You don't need to be micromanaged, which you can actually use and make life easier for yourself. Maybe reduce hours where you're working and do half where you work, half you do your own work and see how it goes. Especially if you feel you are struggling. To be honest, age is taking its toll on me. I felt it. 51, I felt like this is not for me anymore. Working night shift is one thing that I'll struggle to do now because I don't sleep well. I'm a very poor sleeper for some reason. I struggle to sleep. When I sleep too much. When I don't, I actually don't sleep at all. So you can imagine if you do a night shift, 3 nights, probably I'll have another 3 nights of non-sleeping and the exhaustion. And sleeping is good for our health. And if you can't sleep, that's another thing. So you need to just start looking at jobs that you don't need to be working shifts like night shift. You're just working day shift, lesser hours. Um, Not too intense, something that is much easier. Something where you can stand and sit, because I felt the pain. I felt it. Even up to now, like, if I think about it, it's like I'm actually on the job. But I'm not saying this to try and see other people's jobs as if they are not worth it. No. I'm talking with regard to my age, okay, and how much I struggled. Remember, I told you that I worked in that specialty in the past. And that was okay. I didn't have any issues. But now it actually shows that I am struggling. I cannot do those jobs anymore. I have to do something different because I'm no longer the same. My energy levels are actually going down as I advance in years. So I've come up with 3 ideas that I can or you can also try to use to implement and make your life easier using all the experience which you had over the years. So you can go into teaching, mentoring, consultancy. You know, you've got so much experience all these years, whatever you've been doing, you can start doing that. That's much easier. Okay. You can do the digital, it's called digital knowledge business, where you actually monetize your skills. You can do ebooks, you can come online and start teaching, you can do whatever you want online using the skills which you have. Okay, so that's another way of doing it. Or you can go into advisory, whatever you're advising. So you look at advisory roles in the field that you have been for years, right? And then work in that area. That can help as well. Or you can come on social media. Yeah, you can come on social media and just be a content creator, creating content on there, things that you like, things that you've learned, things that you've learned. Normally, your life experiences will always be the best because people want relatable information. People are tired of just things that we're just saying things that they're not experiencing. Okay, they want to hear your story. They want to hear where you've been, what's your struggles, your challenges, or your good parts, the good parts of your life. They want to hear all that. Then you can start talking about it. Why you was that's a successful at a young age? What did you do? Okay, or you were not successful, or you started being successful financially, or you started being successful after 40. Why? What happened? Some people want to hear that story. Like 50-year-olds. There are some 50-year-olds who don't have not even a penny in their account. They just believe in God for a miracle. But you're now 54, 55. You change your financial story when you were 45. What did you do? Come and share it. You don't have to go directly to. There's something that you choose to keep to yourself, and there's certain things that you can teach. Way of doing things because we want to make our life easier. I don't see myself running around the way I did when I went to this other job. It's not for me. Definitely, it's not for me. And my prayer is for God to open doors for me to see those things that only the spirit eyes can see so that I can walk in a path that is easier for me. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.